not okay, et cetera, et cetera. And you said you will. You didn't express to me that you felt like I was a bully to you or this or that. You made it seem like, oh my gosh, I miss you so much, girl. You look beautiful. How are you? Whatever, whatever. So I'm thinking like everything is good. Like to then see you go in your interviews and say, oh, I was bullied. And now I'll say I was the bully because that's what you're insinuating. It doesn't really make sense if you said you're.
Hey guys, listen, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. A quick one. So I'm going to break this down in several components. First of all, I want to say this. Huda's a menace. I'm sorry to say it. Huda is a menace. And I want you to pay attention to this because this is what happens when people are unaccountable. We talk about men in a society which they are unaccountable. Let's be honest. There are so many men who are unaccountable. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to fight you on that. But I think it's important to also point this out that nobody's above being a villain and a menace when they're unaccountable. Can I just say that? It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. The moment a human being is allowed to get away with anything in this life, they will become a menace to society. You know what I'm saying, Chu? Like, because we know that Huda is benefiting from some level of quote unquote close to white privilege in some respects, right? Because there are many interlaying intersections. We know that she's from the Middle East. We understand that there is some level of there's going to be some level of racism against her in that particular aspect as well. I totally get that, right? But she's benefiting from the aspect of that white supremacy. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? She's benefiting that, okay? And our good sisters here, Chelly and Olandria, as much as I was on the neck of Olandria a lot of the season, right? There's parts of me where it's like, okay, no, we have to separate what I felt about the Jeremiah thing and her, whatever. This specifically here, right, about bullying was nonsense. Right now, like I said, I didn't think she was being a bully. You know what I'm saying to you? I think she was out of order for spilling the information of Huda. I didn't think she was being a bully. I don't think Chelly was being a bully. I just think they don't like you, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with someone not liking you in this life. Not everyone's going to like you. You understand what I'm saying to you? And you got to move on. It's not bullying. They don't like you. Get going. You know what I'm saying to you? Right? And it's not like you didn't do stuff that was annoying people and frustrating them in that particular villa as well. Okay. Now, in regards to the Huda situation and her not coming to the defense of the girls, I think we can see here a clear demarcation in regards to how actually Huda actually viewed the girls, right? I think there's something deeper happening under the surface, but let's talk about the surface aspect. I think here with Huda and the girls, Huda's hurt, and for me personally, this is what she did is not consider the consequences of actually supporting her friends, right? For me, Huda's hurt, and you're not you have shown us already what happens when you're hurt, right? Anybody can get it. You have shown us that anybody can get it, right? And I wanted to say this as well too, right? As a general consensus, we understand how when we don't hold men accountable, they are a tyrant on the earth. Honestly, they are a plague. When men are unaccountable and do whatever they feel like, they're a plague. In this instance with Huda, if you've watched my my breakdowns at the beginning of the season, I told you guys that if they don't get a hold of Huda, right? You think it's okay when it's a quote unquote, when I'm saying this, it's okay when it's Jeremiah. When Jeremiah's getting done up dirty, when Jeremiah's getting abused, it's like we try to equate apples and pears. We try to level it. Well, what if he's love bombing her? What if he's doing this? What if he's doing that? We try to make a whole bunch of excuses. And I said to you, she's abusing the man, right? And now the only reason why the reason why Hood is really setting people alight, it's not because she abused her, it's Jeremiah. Oh no. That's not why people are pissed. Because just like men do, right? Women back women, and it's okay. It's a human behavior. We're not pissed at the fact, they're not pissed at the fact that she did it to Jeremiah. They're pissed because she did it to the girls, which is understandable, by the way. I'm just making a clear demarcation. It's understandable. Okay, Jeremiah gets thrown in after to prove that she is the problem because she did it to the girls. Had she never did it to the girls, I promise you now, we will not be discussing this situation. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Okay, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. You know what I mean? But we're going to discuss this nonetheless because Huda did not defend the girls. Could we see this coming? Absolutely. It's been coming. I'm so sorry to say it. If we allow somebody to do what she did to somebody else, and we use sisterhood as why we're backing you, no, that person is going to abuse you too. That person is coming to abuse you too. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, as soon as we allow someone to do something over here, they're more than likely going to do it on the other side. So it was coming. We could see it coming. Now, I think and the fact that they saved her twice. Now, I don't know if that was production forcing them to save them. We have to probably wait and see till next year when apparently this NDA, whatever comes off, whatever, right? But the fact that they saved her twice, knowing that she abused Jeremiah, the fact that castmates saw it and sent Jeremiah home, and the fact that they didn't send Huda home first, yeah. Look. We created a monster, right? And I've been saying that. So the monster's now come back out, and the monster's showing you, I am a monster. Right? Originally, we're backing it because obviously, again, it's like they're both toxic. And I'll tell you, they're not both toxic. They are both toxic in a certain way, and they both have to play their parts, which I said about Jeremiah. But now we see the monsters come, and it's turned its head and said, "Looking, now you're next." But I want to break it down from an attachment perspective. I do. I want to break it down from an attachment perspective because I want to be able to not make it humane, but understand that I can see where this problem is coming from, right? If she's not a narcissist, because some people might call her a narcissist, I don't really call people narcissists. If I was to break it down from an attachment perspective, I can see why she didn't defend the girls. One of the biggest reasons being is that Huda is afraid to lose the support that she's governed. Okay, Huda is afraid of losing the support that she's governed. You see, Huda has gone from the bottom of the pile when the girls finally turned on her and were like, we're not really rocking with you anymore. Huda's probably hurt, bitter, broken, and she still remembers the pain of her own childhood of being bullied and being left out and being isolated. Yeah. Okay. And that pain that hasn't been dealt with has come right back up again. Okay. Right back up again. Absolutely, Fritter. Absolutely. That's why I said that you know, right? And so it come right back up again. And so what she's done is that she's relived. I feel like she's relived a moment in her past in the present. And so in this moment, there's a justification for why she did not support Chelly and Olandria by coming out and doing a video. Why should she? Why should she? She feels justified in the fact that they got what they got. They got what they got. Because in reality, you treated me the way you treat me in a villa. Right? These are how villains are born. They're going to have to justify the reason why they did what they did. And I think for Huda, she might remember the moments as well about the fact that when Olandria, was meant to be her friend and then said what she said about Chris and called her out, which again, Olandria was wrong for that. But, she might remember that point where, okay, I remember that moment. And then this challenge, which is 50-50 with this kind of challenge about the heart rate challenge. It's 50-50, but the way that obviously Chelly then treated her, and then obviously the fact that Chelly, I have to be honest with you, Chelly, she did say to you that she was bringing her back for Chris and you. So, anyway, but again, like how she felt like Chelly treated her. Now, whether we agree or disagree doesn't make a difference. I'm just pointing out maybe where the pain points are for her and the reason why she's justifying this nonsense as to why she didn't want to come out and defend the girls. Okay. And so for me, I'm looking at her going, you actually feel justified. And then you're making excuses saying, I was busy. No, you weren't. It's like it's like talking to somebody and saying, I haven't texted you for a whole week now. The reason why is because I'm busy. Okay. I'm busy. And you know that look, a whole week you've gone by, you haven't messaged me, and you tell me about you're busy. We all know you're not. We all know you're not busy. You just don't have the bandwidth for me. You don't have the bandwidth for me. Okay, you don't have the bandwidth for me. You feel what I'm saying to you? So it's like, okay, cool. So let me break this particular thing down real quick. I don't want to be here too long. I want to break it down now for you in this way, and let's talk about this. What's going on?
We're gonna knock that out.
Oh, come on, internet. Don't play with me now. Don't play me now.
Like knock that out, but then you go on and say, oh, that was my bully. And this is in the midst of me getting constant hate based off of what people felt for you or whatever.
I definitely said things on emotion, like, because it was shortly after we left. And obviously, yeah.
Okay. So I said, for me personally, okay, I said this for me personally, okay, that I believe that Huda is a fearful, avoidant person. I believe she's a fearful, avoidant person. Whether you believe she's a narcissist or not, is up to you guys. But me personally, I believe she's a fearful, avoidant person. Let me break down what fearful avoidance is. Fearful avoidance people grow up in households where there's typically abuse, verbally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, whatever. There's some level of control and abuse. Whilst there's abuse, there's also some love and comfort that comes from the parent. The household that they grow up in is usually chaotic, it's unpredictable, it's violent, and it doesn't have to be physical, but violent in a sense, and it's not safe in that environment now, okay? And what ends up happening is a child learns that it's not safe. Love is associated with harm. So what they do is that they find themselves in patterns when they get to adult relationships, existing in those same type of relationships with the same kind of pattern. So looking at Huda, we know her background. She told us she grew up in a house where her father was abusive. She told us where she grew up, she was being bullied, right? So now we know the kind of environment she's growing up in. It's a chaotic one, probably an unpredictable one, it's an unsafe environment. Now, this is really important information because I'm going to break down why I feel like she decided not to defend the girls, okay? Now, when I'm explaining this, I'm not giving her a pass, okay? It's not a pass. It's an explanation of potentially why the behavior took place. It's not a pass. It's not a pass. I want to make it very, very clear. She doesn't get a pass for me. She never has, and she never will in regards to what she's done on the show. But it's an explanation of the behavior. Okay. All right. Cool. So, let's play this. Okay. Okay. So, and by the way, also, right? By the way, also, remember, I want you to pay attention to this. She is a perpetual victim. You know. I can't remember who told her. Somebody told her that she could be that Jeremiah could be love bombing her on the show, and then she took it and ran with it. Now they told her after the villa you could be bullied. She took it, she ran with it. Like she takes the position of a perpetual victim, rather than taking accountability for her actions in a scenario, because she has always been a victim in her child, and she hasn't learned that she makes choices that leads to particular outcomes. So we saw that in the villa with the whole love bombing, and now she's still doing a love bomb. When Jeremiah asked her, did I love bomb you? Yeah, you did love bomb me. Where did you get that from? You didn't even know what love bombing was. You didn't even think that was love bombing at the time. But because someone told you in the villa, some of the girls said that to you. Okay? Some of the girls said that to you, that he might be love bombing you. And that's why I said they created a monster, right? Because they done told her, oh, you could be getting love bombed by Jeremiah. Now she took it and said, okay, yeah, I'm being love bombed. That's it, yeah. Meanwhile, she's the one that was saying, I love you. Now she's at the villa, did the exact same tactic again. You could be getting bullied, babe. She took it, boom. She takes that as a position. Because she's unwilling to grow and become better, because her only idea of growing is still becoming a perpetual victim. So that she doesn't have to be accountable and held for her actions. That doesn't mean that things don't happen to her. It just means that she's unaccountable. Now, let's do it this way. Okay, cool. So for me personally, I think she's a fearful avoidant, and I think this is important because fearful avoidance, oftentimes they crave closeness, they want love, they're very hot and cold because they want love and they're afraid of the love, right? They associate love with harm. Okay, this is really important. Now, number one reason why I think that, obviously, this thing keeps coming on my ears, peeing me off. Number one reason why I feel like with Huda, you know, she didn't defend Chelly and Olandria is, as I said before, the fear of the backlash of her audience that she had built up. You have to understand with Huda, right? She's come out the villa after feeling, she probably felt a little bit some way about the girls and how they treated her. But once she got out the villa, she then realized, oh my God, I have all this power. Okay? You see, you don't realize what people are like until they get. Okay? So the power that she now had in her hands, okay, all right? The power she now had in her hands to be able to now do what she needed to do to get her objective met. She did not want to remove that. She did not want to upset her worshippers by calling out her worshippers. Why? Because exactly this. Because again, it would mean a confrontation and a conflict. Okay, that would mean a confrontation and a conflict. And in that space, what tends to happen is people that are conflict avoidant refuse to actually have hard conversations, because it would mean that potentially they could get roped in to the situation, right? So instead of actually confronting her fans and saying, hey guys, look, stop talking about Chelly and Olandria. Those of you who are doing it, it's not all of you, but subsection of you guys, stop coming after them, stop being racist. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. You are not my fan if you are talking about Chelly and Olandria in this particular manner. Now, listen, you have, again, sometimes what happens is these particular fans become also a validational piece, right? They reflect your validation of maybe you felt pissed off, right? For instance, like all of these castmates have their own fans who are going to validate their side of the story. That's not the problem. The problem, and even I wouldn't even have a problem if they felt like they didn't like Olandria and Chelly. The problem we have is the racial undertone behind some of the comments that are being made by a subsection, because not all Huda fans, let's be honest, let's not tar them over the brush, but some Huda fans, right, a subsection of them are racial and are using Huda actually to actually become a vehicle of their hate and their racial prejudice. And in that space, right, this is where Huda should be able to say, hey, you lot, that's not me. Don't work with me. I'm not about that life. I love these girls still. We have our differences, but never is going to be a racial thing. But she didn't want to come out and do that. It would mean that she would have to physically come out and actually confront those people. Okay? Now, I'm not giving her a pass again. I know it can be very scary. It can be very scary to want to confront people and tell them that they're wrong. It's not always easy to tell the mobs that they're wrong, right? But she didn't do that. And again, when you got that fearful, avoidant attachment, right? It's more like if I stay silent, then I can stay safe. I won't get attacked too. Because if I say something now, they may turn on me and attack me. And bear in mind, this is the only people that are validating my story. These are the only people that are validating my perspective of the story. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So remember, this is a larger thing, right? Number two is that she actually agreed to the perspective. She actually agreed to, if I remember, I don't know if I have a clip. I think I'll just play a little
things were
bit.
great. And then starting to see the videos, it hurt my feelings. And I should have addressed that to you directly. I should have said something. And I do apologize for not saying things to you directly. That is my fault. And I don't think you should be getting any hatred at all. And like,
okay, so at this particular point, all right, this aspect where she says, oh, I don't believe you should be getting all this kind of hate, but then didn't stand up for her, is also what we see people who are bystanders. A lot of people are bystanders, right? A lot of people can say a lot of things, but when it comes down to the crunch of it, you yourself won't stand up and say anything. And it takes a level of courage and bravery to do so. Unfortunately, Huda don't have that. Okay, and she agreed to actually. She actually heard the girls tell her, "Hey, put out a post. We're getting slandered in a way that's not. It's not helpful. We're getting slandered, bullied in a way that's not nice. You know how bullying is." And then you hear your girls who you say you love, and are telling you that they're being disrespected and mistreated in this way. And instead of you to come out and say something, you don't. You stay quiet. And that is number two, which is guilt and shame. Guilt and shame for fearful avoidance will create paralysis and stop them from actually coming out. So for instance, let's say for instance the girls told her, listen, put out a post on Saturday. She doesn't put it out on Saturday. It comes to Sunday. Now it's Monday. Now it's Tuesday. It's like, as the days are going by, more guilt and more shame is building up. She should have just done it on the Saturday, but she didn't do it on a Saturday. Now it's next week. Now 2 weeks have gone. And after a while, it's like, if I just bury my head in the sand, I won't have to do it. It will go away. Okay, If I just bury my head in the sand, this is going to go away. Problem is, it's not going to go away because the situation wasn't just that the fans, some of the fans didn't like Olandria and Chelly, is that it was racial. That's the problem. And it's a misdiagnosis and a misunderstanding. And I want to say misunderstanding. It's a misjudgment of how weighty these matters are in the public sphere. Right? So pretending that everything's okay and like it'll just sort itself out. That's what we've got now. Okay. Number 3 is selective victimhood to avoid accountability. We saw this in the villa. We saw Huda be selectively with her victimhood. Okay. All right. We know that with Huda, she is a perpetual victim playing that role. It happened with Jeremiah. It's happened with Chris. It's happened with Chelly and Olandria now. She is a perpetual victim. She plays that role, and that's her way of avoiding accountability and not actually growing. And some fearful of avoidance, not all, people that are unhealed and don't want to grow and don't want to become better, okay, all right, they use that victimhood as a way of deflecting from actually growth. And then they harvest people's empathy and sympathy for them. They harvest people's I'm so sorry for you. They harvest people's I've been the same girl as Huda. I've gone through what she's gone through. I know what she did. Right? Yes, I do hear a lot of people saying BPD. Fearful avoidance and BPD are very overlapping though. And I'm not qualified to call someone a disorder. I'm gonna leave it as just say I think she's probably fearful avoidant. You know what I mean? But yes, I do hear a lot of BPD. BPD is very much associated with people who are fearful avoidance. Those who have a dysfunctional attachment style, usually BPD is also DPD, could be schizophrenia too as well. They all not usually exist in that same boat as well, right? In that space, okay, in that aspect. So yeah, she plays a victim role. And then what ends up happening is, because she's hurt, she now feels okay. Okay. She now feels she's okay to, she now feels it's okay to hurt someone else. So when I see what I see with fearful avoidance, what can end up happening is, right? And again, this is my opinion personally. What I see with fearful avoidance is that sometimes they get hurt, and then it's like, okay, I feel okay to now hurt you. Like, you've hurt me now. It's okay now that I hurt you. And really and truly, it's because the hurt you've given them is actually linking up with past wounds. So then she feels justified to be able to do what she does to you. And I feel like this is what actually happened with Huda and the girls. She feels justified to let the fans come at them because really and truly, they did her dirty. That's how she feels. You know what I'm saying to you? In that particular space. Number 4 is fearful avoidance recreate the same dynamics that their parents birthed them in, that their parents raised them in. Okay. All right. Many people will replicate the same patterns of behavior that their parents did because that's all they know. So let me give an example. If her dad was abusive, what do you think she was doing with Jeremiah? It was abusive. And now we see the inability for her dad probably to take accountability. What's she doing? The same thing. She's failing to take accountability in the role of how she played with the girls. Okay, so she's replicating that. All right, she's replicating that. So in this particular space, right, saying I love you, you're amazing, you're a good person, you know, Chelly, you know, I don't think you deserve to get this kind of things against you, you know, like she was saying, right?
In terms of like people defending me or anything like that, like you are a good person, and I don't want you to be getting any hate.
I mean, I appreciate your apology. I'll just say, like, it's just so confusing sometimes because, like, you know, in the
So this aspect where she's saying, you know, you're a good person, she is literally, okay. I don't know that Sean. I know Sean be secure anyway, brother. You'd be more secure than most of us, brother. um, but you know, with Huda, she in this environment, in this arena, what she did is saying, "Oh, you're great, you're good at this," but then her behaviors and actions are not proving that you feel this person's good. And that's exactly what she probably experienced with her dad. Her dad saying, I love you. There's many people like this as well who've got an environment in their home where your parents say, I love you, I care about you. And in the same breath, they can insult you, they can disrespect you, they can hurt you, you know, and it creates this dichotomy in the mind. And so then you replicate that same behavior that actually love is pain, love is hurt. So yes, she does love Chelly. Yes, she does love Olandria. In an abusive way, yes. Okay, in an abusive way. So in the same fashion that she's experienced, she's now given it out to. Okay. And I guess number 5, I think and I won't even actually. I'll leave my number 5 point. What I'll say is that overall, it's again, we're not giving her a pass. I'm only using that as a way to explain. You know, I'm only using that as a way to explain. But for me personally, it is again, I look at it and I go, there are issues with Huda that she needs to be able to start looking at. That she really needs to start doing some real work, and she really needs to start actually being accountable. And she needs a therapist that's going to call her out, because the internet and the World Wide Webo is only going to gas her up the more and validate her into a psychosis of her behavior's okay. Okay, this is really important for Huda. Like, if they don't grab her now, she'll be too far. She could potentially be too far gone. Because the reality of the situation is, okay, the reality of the situation is that the internet and the fans are only going to validate her point of view. I am not saying though, okay, all right, I'm not saying though that she didn't incur some certain things within the basis of the Love Island. It's important for me to also say I don't discount that things happen to her. I don't even discount that she may have got racist comments from a lot of fans who wanted to fight her back. This is why it's important that she stepped out first, so that she can actually show people this is what it means to step out. Then she can then say, okay, cool. You know, like, hey, girls, can you defend me too? Do you see what I'm saying to you? But without you stepping out, it's going to be very difficult for people to want to step out for you, because you already have given them a history of behavior. You know? So I really feel like she needs to be able to start looking at it once more again. Okay? And, you know, like I said, I always say, for fearful avoidance, it's not enough just to help listen to them. They also need accountability. Same with dismissive avoidance. They need avoidance specifically need accountability. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like they specifically need accountability. Like, it's okay, we can hear them out, we listen to them, but you need to keep them accountable and say, hey, no, that behavior is actually wrong. That behavior is actually not cool, and that behavior is not cool. Just want to make it clear with you. And when you're able to do that in a loving way and call them out, they may not take it that there and then, but at least they know. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, it's interesting to see that, you know, and you know, I do feel, because again, it's interesting because Huda, I think on her Instagram post, I think she might have reposted the Zion thing with Andy Cohen situation, and I thought, unless they edited it badly, I thought Andy Cohen was quite gracious to Huda. You know what I'm saying to you? You know, so I was intrigued to see that. You know what I'm saying to you? But like I said, there are we are separating the fact that Huda should have come out and defended the girls from what necessarily happened in the villa. There are individual moments, like I said, where I can actually see where Huda's coming from. I've already said that. I can see that. I can understand the Chelly situation. I can understand the Huda situation. But on this particular aspect that we are really focusing on, in terms of the racism, this is different. This is where Huda should have leaned and put that line there and said, look, I'm going to back you lot. No one should be doing this. Right? But she didn't. So shoot, we're here, you know? Yeah. It's tight. You know what I mean? It's tight. That's what I was going to say. It's very, very tight. You know, so we'll have to deal with that in the end as well. But yeah, listen, guys, my time is up. We're gonna be on a little bit later on in a few minutes talking about Ready to Love. But hey, shaka. Huda, fix up, man. Quick. We're not here for the nonsense, please.